Giddings from Gun Nuts Media, and today's video we're going to talk about the 5 best single stack 9s for concealed carry. The single stack 9 phenomenon was launched really back by the M&P Shield, although there were companies that were offering that sort of gun before, but it wasn't really until the M&P Shield hit that everybody suddenly realized that they wanted a slim, compact 9mm for concealed carry. So today we're going to look at the 5 best guns on the market right now that combine the right number of features, price point, and shootability to make the 5 best single stack 9s for concealed carry. We're going to start with number 5. Number 5 is the Car Pm9. Car has been doing the single stack 9 game probably longer than anyone else, and they make an excellent product. I like the Car Pm9 series because, again, Car kind of knows what's up with the single stack 9. They're good guns, they have solid triggers, and you can get them with a variety of features. Like if you want night sights, you can get those from the factory. If you want extended magazines, you can get those from the factory. So the Pm9 is a solid choice right out of the box because there's not a lot that you have to do to mess with it. A couple of things I don't like about it. I don't like that the takedown lever and the slide release are the same. The slide release on these can also be extremely stiff. Not on this one, but it's a solid choice in at the number 5 spot. Number 4 is the Ruger LC9S Pro. Now, I didn't like the original LC9. I felt like the trigger was terrible, and that was a big enough reason for me to put it on my don't use list. The LC9S Pro, on the other hand, fixes that. They put a much better trigger system in the gun, which gives you a smoother, more consistent trigger pull, making the gun a lot easier to shoot. I like that from the factory. It comes with a pinky extended base pad because I like to be able to get all 4 fingers on these guns when I'm shooting them. So number 4 is the LC9S Pro, and I also think it's at a great price point because you can get these for $300 to $400 at retail. Solid, very, very solid. Now we're gonna go straight into number 3 here. But before we do number 3, I want to talk a little bit about the single stack 9s because these have actually been around for a while. Even before they were made out of polymer, they were doing single stack 9s. The Smith & Wesson 3913, which was a 3rd gen Smith, was a phenomenal gun. It was a great gun. Nobody loved them, but they were phenomenal guns. Of course, the OG single stack 9 was the Colt Officer's model in 9mm. That was a great gun when it ran. Hard to get to work sometimes. But the reason I talk about doing the single stack 9 thing before single stack 9s were cool is because of gun number 3 on our list, the Walther PPS. So the Walther dropped the PPS well before Smith & Wesson did the Shield, well before Glock did the Glock 43, and it was a great gun. As a matter of fact, the only reason it's not higher on the list than number 3 is because for some reason Walther decided with the PPS to do a Gen 2 model, and the Gen 2 model got away from what I thought was one of the best features. It put a button style magazine release on it and got rid of the paddle magazine release. The paddle magazine release was great, and I think paddle magazine releases are great in general. Getting rid of that actually dropped this gun down on the list of single stack 9s that I like. Now we're at the number 2 slot for the best single stack 9. And when I was writing this video, I was tempted to punk out and call it a tie between the number 1 and the number 2 guns because honestly they are very, very close. And in my opinion, my considered professional opinion, you will not go wrong by selecting either the number 2 or the number 1 gun. So if you're picking between either of these guns, it really is a matter of personal preference based on what you like, if you like the manufacturer, if your coin flip landed heads or tails, because that's really what it comes down to with number 2 and number 1. But I'm going to put them in the order that I like them based on some teeny tiny personal preferences. So number 2 is the Glock 43. Horror! He put the Glock 43 at number 2 instead of number 1? But Glocks are the best, and the internet keeps telling me when they watch my other videos that I'm a Glock fanboy, so clearly I should have put Glock as number 1. But I'm gonna put the Glock 43 as number 2 for a couple of reasons. The first reason being that while I like the extended floor plate on this magazine, it doesn't actually add any capacity. So I'm getting a full firing grip, but I'm not getting extra rounds. I still have 6 on board in the gun. And I'm gonna dock it again because Glock's factory sights suck. They do. They're just terrible. I've never had a Glock that I carried for my own personal use where I didn't rip the sights off first thing, all right? If you don't understand why Glock factory sights are terrible, you need to shoot more. You just need to get out and train more. So the Glock 43 is number 2 because it's only got 6 rounds and the factory sight sucks. Otherwise, it's really hard to go wrong with the 43. And that, of course, brings us to the number 1 gun, which y'all probably saw coming, the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield. The reason why the M&P Shield beat out the 43 for the number 1 spot is because the extended grip on the M&P Shield with the extended magazine gives me more capacity. I get 8+1 on board with the Shield, and I like that. 8 is more than 6, and more is better. I also like that the sights on the Shield are real metal sights. I'm not a big fan of 3-dot sights in general, but if I'm just buying a factory gun to go shoot, this is gonna be, I'm gonna buy one that has proper sights on it. The last reason the Shield beat out the Glock 43 for the number 1 spot is because the Shield has this nifty little takedown lever inside of it, which means you don't have to pull the trigger to take the gun apart. That matters to me because the primary purchasers of these guns are the same people who were the primary purchasers of J-frames 10 and 15 years ago. They're not people who are going to go out, get a ton of training, get super good at shooting, and get super high speed. They're gonna buy this gun, they're gonna load the magazine, they're gonna throw it in a glove box, they're gonna throw it in a sock drawer, and it's gonna sit there. So the less you have to do to take the gun apart to clean it when they clean it once every year like they're going to do is actually a good thing. It lowers the chance of a negligent discharge, and I'm big on lowering the chances of negligent discharges. That wraps it up for our video. So a quick recap. Number 5, Car Pm9. Number 4, I don't remember. Number 4, Ruger LC9S Pro. Number 3, Walther PPS. Number 2, Glock 43. At number 1, the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield. If you would like to disagree with me and tell me how I'm an idiot because I left out the Beretta Nano or the Sig 938 or some pet gun from some obscure manufacturer that you super duper love, hit me up in the comment section down below and tell me what a dummy I am. Otherwise, remember, until next time, I'm Caleb Giddings. Thanks for watching. Run your gun, not your mouth.